Imagine sipping a cool drink on a sun-drenched beach, your toes in the sand, and a gentle breeze fluttering the pages of your laptop screen. You're not just on vacation. You brought your work along with the intent of turning this tropical escapade into a business expense. The simple act of sending a work email from this picturesque setting prompts an intriguing question. Can you write off a vacation as a business expense if you send one work email? This scenario isn't just a dream for many professionals. It's a tantalizing loophole that seems to offer the best of both worlds. However, the reality of tax laws and business expense write-offs is not as straightforward as firing off an email between piña coladas. To unpack this, we need to delve into what constitutes a legitimate business expense and how the IRS views the blending of business with pleasure. The IRS defines business expenses as the costs of carrying on a trade or business, and these expenses must be both ordinary and necessary. An ordinary expense is one that is common and accepted in your trade or business. A necessary expense is one that is helpful and appropriate for your business. But here's the crux of the matter. How do these definitions apply to a vacation? Let's break down the scenario. You decide to take a week-long trip to Hawaii. On one of those days, you spend a few hours reviewing documents and send an email to your office confirming you've done so. Can this day be considered a business day? Can the entire trip be written off as a business expense? Firstly, the primary factor in determining whether a trip can be expensed is the real reason for the travel. The IRS looks at the nature of the trip and the amount of time spent on activities directly related to one's business. To qualify as a deductible business trip, the travel must be primarily for business purposes. The IRS would consider the trip's primary motive. Was the trip planned with the intent to conduct business, or was the business activity incidental to the vacation? If you decide to conduct business in a locale that just so happens to be a vacation hotspot, you would need to demonstrate that the trip was primarily for business. This means having a clear itinerary of meetings, work events, or conferences that qualify as business activities for the majority of the trip. If business was conducted, the IRS would allow the deduction of travel expenses directly related to the business activity. This includes airfare, a portion of your lodging, meals during business meetings, and other expenses directly related to the business task. However, the mere act of sending a single email does not transform a personal vacation into a business trip. The IRS guidelines stipulate that if the travel is primarily for personal reasons, such as a vacation, the entire cost of the trip is a non-deductible personal expense. However, expenses incurred while at your destination that are directly related to your business might be deductible, even during a trip that is primarily for personal reasons. For example, if during your vacation in Hawaii, you took a day to visit clients or potential business sites, and you can prove that this was a necessary part of your work, then the expenses related to that specific day could potentially be deductible. This includes the cost of transportation to and from the business site and any other expenses directly related to the business activity on that day. The reality is, adding a sprinkle of business activities, like sending an email, into a vacation doesn't provide a free pass to write off what is essentially a personal trip. The IRS has seen many such creative interpretations of tax law and is quite adept at distinguishing between legitimate business expenses and personal leisure disguised as business. In conclusion, while the modern work environment blurs the lines between personal and professional life, especially with technology enabling work from almost anywhere, tax laws still maintain a clear boundary. Before attempting to write off any part of a vacation as a business expense, it's essential to consult with a tax professional. Understanding the nuances of what constitutes a legitimate business expense can save you from potential audits and penalties, ensuring that your relaxation time doesn't lead to stressful complications down the road. This careful balancing act between compliance and claiming legitimate deductions is crucial in leveraging business expenses effectively while respecting the bounds of tax laws.